All right, let's get started here. A little while back, I did a running back ball hog show, right? Used it to figure out which running backs are getting the most percentage of teams' carries here. You see, Kyrene Williams got 0.79% of the team carries for the Rams last year. Hey, Swift got 78% of the team's touches. This is rushes, attempts, and targets in the passing game. And of course, Barkley here got 74% here at 3. So you can see we use these figures to know how many percentage of the time the running back one under a certain coach might get percentages of carries or how much work they're going to get in case that player changes, right? Well, here we did running back two. You can see here some of the popular running back two teams with high running back two usage. It's like Seattle. Obviously, they platoon a lot there. And Jacksonville, 46 and 41%. Now, Bucky Irvin fans, let's not forget, he only got 50%. They use that running back too, right? White a lot. So that was some of the numbers we went through in that. You can look at the Ball Hog show, but I hijacked the program that I used to grab the different numbers and add up the fantasy totals for each team. You can see here Tennessee. I ran it by all the running backs at Tennessee and got all their points that scored. There was only 4 running backs that got points for Tennessee last year. Here they are. I add them all up, and we do it for each team. It's beautiful program you're running through for all teams. And you can see Tennessee here, although the 259 fantasy total points was way down on the list of teams here. You can see number one team was Detroit here. Number 525 total team points. You can see that 53% of that went to Gibbs, 38%, and Montgomery, and 0.6% went to Craig Reynolds there. But so, hey, I tell you what, one thing is you start wondering, well, how many percentage maybe Gibbs get if they focus on him a little bit more, and you can almost get a mathematical equation out of it to figure out, well, if they start giving him certain percentage more. But anyway, that's what these numbers are used for, and that's why we're great to get these, and we accumulate these during the year too, so I get up-to-date numbers as we go. Anyway, Baltimore was number 2, Derrick Henry. These are the teams that are getting total highest amount from running backs. Number 3 on the list is Tampa, and we showed that, but they do like to split a little bit. But Bucky here getting Tampa with that. They're all winning teams, if you've noticed, up here at the top. And Barkley, 383 points, or the Philadelphia here, coming in at 5. Barkley got 74% of those. And you can see, hey, look at the difference here. Just calculating the difference between Detroit and Philadelphia. Detroit's so much higher than everyone else. Look at 142 points higher than Philadelphia in their running back. That's like getting a free Brian Robinson Jr. added into your totals. It's so much more. So when we're representing Detroit on that list, they need to be represented more, right? So here they are. We got the team totals. How many points each one scored at fantasy running backs. There's the whole list. If you add them all up, you get 9,847 points scored at fantasy at running back last year. And now we can here's what we're going for. All this to get to the team percentage to see that how much of the pie should they get. Detroit here, top of the list, 5.3%, should get more of the consensus ranking weightings than Cleveland here at 2%. Right? So when we're adding these all up, I want to do a calculation to see who's overrepresented and who's underrepresented in the teams in the consensus rankings. Let's get started. All right, hit that subscribe button as the season gets closer, our fantasy season. You want to be subscribed to get the latest. And give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Thank you. All right, I've crunched the numbers here, and here's what I've come up with. Kind of ugly as a spreadsheet, but here on Fantasy AI, I like putting it to pictures. That's what I like doing here. bringing those stale spreadsheets numbers to some pictures. We start with Tampa. Tampa has Bucky Irvin here ranked 11th. Right, you see here he's ranked 11th. The 11th person scored 204 points in fantasy last year. And you see Rachaad White here, they've got him ranked at 46. These are the consensus rankings. And last year that 46th running back scored 81 points. So you see how this is working here. Well, combined, you see that adds up to 286 ranked points, right? Well, last year these two got 369 points. So they're not giving them credit here for minus 83 points. So that you can see they're underranked here. 83 points. That's like 12 touchdowns. 13? What? Anyway, here, Rachaad White here is 46th ranked. That's probably the answer. Probably closer. You can add that on to him. Or give a little more to Bucky Irvin and securing that 11th ranking. But so here's right out of the bat, you can see Tampa Bay's running backs are underranked and 46th ranking on White. I don't know what they're thinking. Moving on to Baltimore. It's a little easier to see here with just one running back. He's ranked 6th. Last year, the 6th running back scored 244 points, right? Well, last year, Derrick Henry had 315. So, based on his ranking, they're taking 71 points away from him. They're saying he's going to score 71 less points this year than last year with that 6th ranking. So, my guess is he's underranked, right? He's way underranked, or certainly safe at that 6th ranking. You can afford to lose 71 points from what he did last year. Looking like he's underranked by the numbers. How about Green Bay here? We look at Josh Jacobs here. He's ranked 9th. That's 220 points out of that from the 9th ranked running back last year. And how about 57th ranked Marshawn Lloyd? That'll get you 56 points. Add them together. Well, here's what they scored last year's 344 points. All right? So you can see that he added those together, 278 points. So they're down 65 points. That is 11 touchdowns are taken away from Josh Jacobs here. Or not crediting Lloyd with some. But so at least Josh Jacobs safe in that 9th ranking. They're probably bringing him down a little bit, and Green Bay might have a better team. Better receiver core, take some pressure off the run game. Hey, get as many touchdowns. But anyway, Josh Jacobs might be some low here. Moving on to Buffalo. Over here in Buffalo, we've got James Cook here ranked 13th. All right, and Ray Davis here ranked 48th. So, of course, James Cook probably 13th ranked here. He had those 18 touchdowns. We just don't expect that same amount of touchdowns, so they might be dropping him off a little bit for that. But, hey, 64 points worth? So between him and Ray Davis, minus 64 points in the scoring what they've got ranked for. So something's got to go either be underranked. It's probably Ray Davis. Could be Ray Davis there, but hey, there's some underranking going on in Buffalo there too. How about here in Minnesota? All right, they've got Aaron Jones here, 27th ranked. That's 145th. 445 points that would get. And Jordan Mason here, 39th ranked. That's only 93 points. So together, there's a deficit of 28 points there for who they had last year. And hey, Jordan Mason might bring the talent up there in Minnesota a little bit. Right? So if we just stick that 28 points on Jordan Mason, he would be ranked more like the 30th if they weren't taking points away from the Minnesota running game. So they took 28 points away from the running backs for Minnesota where, hey, things might be looking better for next year. So too low ranking here on Minnesota running backs. Pick your poison which one you think it is, but too low here. How about we're moving on to Dallas? Dallas, hey, Javonte Williams here ranked 37th. And 44th on blue, like the rookie. So which one's it going to be? How about 30th? If we take that 25 points and add it to Javonte Williams, or he might bring him down to 30th. But or maybe it's going to be Javonte or Blue here, Jaden Blue. You just don't know. But hey, Dallas, they're ranking. No, Dallas could have a better team. This is based on last year's numbers. And if Dallas has a better team, and with Dak back and better receiving, help the run game out, team scoring would be up. Well, they're too low on Javonte Williams, probably. Or maybe Jaden Blue here. Who knows? But they're too low on the Dallas running game. Moving on to Washington. Talk about a team that has a better chance of doing better in Jaden or in Daniel's second year. I mean, things are going to be looking up for Washington. They got Brian Robinson Jr. here, ranked 29th, which would be 135 points. Eckler 41st here. You combine it up. Well, Washington, they took 25 points away from the running backs compared to last year. And hey, they probably are going to score better. You know, give them another year, better offense. Things are looking up in Washington. So maybe Brian Robinson Jr. is ranked too low here at that 29. Or they get more out of Eckler. You know, if Eckler stays where he is, then that would move Brian Robinson Jr. all the way up to 22nd, and you get some bargain before he even does better, just based on last year's numbers. So, excuse me, that would be a pretty good one there. Hey, maybe they're too low on Brian Robinson Jr. or Austin Eckler. Here you get a team. You know, since we're doing it by team, we don't know which one they're underestimating, but certainly they're underestimating some of these teams. And New York Giants. You have the 34th ranked here, Scatbo, and Tyrone Tracy here, 35th. So basically the same. You can see 103 points versus 99 points here. But, hey, as a team, minus 22 points. And, hey, with this Scatbo brought in, maybe things are going to be better than what they points last year. This is just off of last year's points. And they're underranking the Giants here a little bit. So pick I don't know which one it's going to be. We'll get more as the preseason progresses. But hey, there's a little room there for the Giants. They're underranked. And look at the Rams here. 10th ranked Kyren Williams here, 208 points. So he's ranked 10th. And last year he did 225 points here. You'd figure just for him. And that's 16 points. That's a point a game. So now it's risky here. We're not knowing what's going on with Kyren Williams. That's why he's ranked 10th. Otherwise, he'd been ranked higher. But hey, from the get-go, just know that they're taking a point a game away from him in their rankings at 10th. He scored better than that last year. So, pretty firm in that 10th. That might be a good pick there. Here in that 10, might be good. Moving on to Tennessee here. So we got Pollard and Spears, 24th and 45th rank. Hey, you know, they deserve those rankings. Now, you might move Pollard back some and Spears up some if they carry through with their threats of spreading the workload out a little bit. But Spears was injured a little bit and Pollard got a little bit more. And maybe Cam Ward comes in and that team's a little better even. This is based on last year's numbers. So, hey, maybe the Tennessee running backs are at least ranked appropriate. But we'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, did you write all those down? Want to make a note of these when we're doing our rankings and figuring out where we're going this year in fantasy? So first there was Tennessee, possibly underranked. And, of course, Kyren Williams and the Rams. Hey, point a game they took away from him at that 10th ranking, so pretty solid there at 10, right? How about the Giants? Hey, they were both solidly ranked there. If one moves ahead of one of the other in the rankings, then, hey, they're both worth that amount there. How about Dallas? got two new, got different team uniforms here, but Javonte Williams might be ranked a little low. You know, and if Dallas has a little better team, hey, you might get some out of Javonte Williams early, especially where the rookies come on. How about there in Buffalo? We like them doing a little better, but also there, I skipped over Minnesota. And Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason there might be the guy. How about Jacobs here? Could be underranked. We thought that, hey, there might be some underranking going on with him and Derrick Henry. They're just not giving Derrick Henry the credit. All right? So he might be underranked here. And Tampa. Bucky Irving or most likely Rashad White. But, hey, there's room for Irvin there. So they're taking points away from all these guys. So we'll make a note of these and keep track and come back for the next video. Let's take a look at this.